ever wondered how all this fresh, beautiful air is made? Or if you ever winded after doing some kind of fun activity and you just need to take a deep breath? Well, we're here to tell you why, and that reason is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process that converts light energy into chemical energy of food for plants.
During the light reactions of photosynthesis, there are two possible routes the electrons can take: cyclic and non-cyclic, also known as linear.
The non-cyclic electron flow, which is also known as the linear electron flow, is the most common route that electrons take.
The first step in the linear electron flow happens when a photon of light strikes a pigment molecule in the light harvesting complex. It's relayed to the other pigment molecules until it reaches the P680 chlorophyll A molecule. It excites one of the P680 electrons to a higher state.
Once an electron is excited to a higher energy state, it is then captured by a primary electron acceptor.
The excited electrons are replaced by electrons obtained from split water molecules, which are split into oxygen and hydrogen electrons. This releases oxygen as a byproduct.
The high-energy electrons are moving from photosystem 2 to photosystem 1 through an electron transport train, losing energy along the way, which is used to pump protons into the thylakoid, creating a proton gradient.
The energy from the proton gradient is used by ATP synthase to produce ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate.
The electrons reach photosystem 1, where they are re-energized by light absorption.
The enzyme NADPH plus reductase transfers electrons from FD to NADPH+. 2 electrons are required for its reduction to NADPH.
The cyclic electron flow is the most uncommon of the 2 electron flows, and that is because it only uses photosystem 1, does not use photosystem 2, and it also does not produce oxygen or NADPH. It only produces additional ATP.
The first step of cyclic electron flow is light absorption in the photosystem 1. Light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll in the photosystem 1, and it excites the electrons to a higher energy level.
The high-energy electrons are passed to a series of carriers in the electron transport chain.
Instead of being transferred to NADPH+, the electrons cycle back to the photosystem 1 reaction center through the electron transport chain.
As electrons move through the electron transport chain, their energy is used to pump protons into the thylakoid, creating a proton gradient. This gradient drives ATP synthesis by ATP synthase.
Cyclic electron flow helps balance the ATP and NADPH ratio required by the Calvin cycle.
The similarities between oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria and in the chloroplast are that they both generate ATP, they both involve the use of the electron transport chain, and they both use energy of electron transfers to pump protons across the membrane, which is known as chemiosmosis.
The differences between oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria and phosphorylation in the chloroplast are that they occur in different areas. Oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria occurs in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Phosphorylation in the chloroplast occurs in the thylakoid membrane. They both use different energy sources. From the mitochondria, it uses nutrients and glucose, and from the chloroplast, it uses energy and sunlight, and they both have different purposes. In the mitochondria, it makes ATP for cellular activities, and in the chloroplast, it makes ATP and NADPH for uses in the Calvin cycle.
In the Calvin cycle, ATP is used as an energy source, and NADPH is used as a reducing power factor.
Throughout the phases of the Calvin cycle, ATP is providing required energy for chemical reactions.
Oh, I'm feeling a little tired. I think we need a Piano Man intermission.
What's a Piano Man intermission?
What is photorespiration, you might ask? Well, that is the process that occurs in plants when the enzyme RuBisCO oxygenates RuPb, which leads to the decrease in photosynthetic efficiency.
What are some major consequences of photorespiration, you might ask? Well, first of all, it generates 0 ATP. It consumes it, but it does not produce any. It decreases photosynthetic output by siphoning organic material from the Calvin cycle. It is a waste of energy, produces no sugar, and it drains carbon fixed by the Calvin cycle.
The first photosynthetic adaptation to minimize photorespiration is C4 photosynthesis. C4 photosynthesis is a type of photosynthesis where plants fix carbon dioxide into a 4-carbon compound, concentrating carbon dioxide around the enzyme RUBISCO to significantly reduce photorespiration. This type of photosynthesis is known to be used in hot, dry environments, and this process is characterized by unique leaf anatomy with distinct mesophyll and bundle sheath cells.
The second important photosynthetic adaptation is called the CAM pathway. It is involved in succulent plants like cactus and pineapples. These plants open their stomata during the night and close them during the day. This helps desert plants save water and prevents CO2 from entering the leaves. The stored CO2 is then released for photosynthesis.
Big idea number 1, evolution.
Evolution, the greatest show on earth.
Photosynthesis is a process that evolved over many years. Being able to convert light energy into chemical energy has provided an advantage to plants, allowing them to thrive. Big idea number 2, energy.
Photosynthesis is a big example of transforming energy into matter. It takes light energy and converts it into chemical energy, which is used for cellular processes.
Big idea number 3, information. Plants contain genetic information within itself that determine the structure and function of photosynthesis. The regulation of these genes makes sure that photosynthesis occurs correctly. Big idea number 4, systems.
Photosynthesis expresses the working together of systems through the chloroplast, thylakoid, membranes, etc. All of these parts work together to reach the same goal, whether it is creating ATP or converting light energy into chemical energy.